I really don't know what's going on. YouTube being mad goofy right now. Every time I try to start the live, the joint just shut down or whatever. Maybe they don't want me to talk about Gucci Gang. Who knows? Or the shit hop and its impact, its detrimental impact on hip hop. Who in here with me? Cause I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. YouTube being real goofy. Now I'm the one that's back because YouTube keep pushing out my phone. My phone keep going back to the home screen, which is local to me. I actually had to get like a little something in my stomach because the way my lives is set up, I don't be eating breakfast. I just be having coffee. So I'm gonna wait till a few more people's in here. Before I start to go in. I actually tried to stream from my laptop, but for some reason it's way harder to stream from your laptop than it is your phone. I don't really understand why. Well, I don't understand why you right here. You got all the space. Goofy. Give me a second. Damn, what's good? Shit, if I knew nobody was gonna be in, I wouldn't have went live today. Good Lord. Is it the connection? Is it what's going on? Shit. I feel like I'm starting from ground zero. Are you? I can't see. It says 0 people in here. That's real local. Well, I know somebody's in here, so let me start. All right, so I was watching a man, listen, that's beside the point. So I was watching one of many discussions on the state of hip hop, right? And you know, watching these through my live feeds and, you know, my Twitter feeds and stuff, and how people are basically is real polarized, right? Anybody who condemns the state of hip hop right now is considered an old head. Listening to that old school stuff, listening to old dudes, and yeah, I mean, dusty, all these words that they using to describe, you know, people who ain't really feeling the where hip hop is going right now. Wait, what are you doing? Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Goofy. So yeah, so anybody who, you know, is actually calling out, hi Brandon, anybody who's actually calling out the BS or the foolery in today's hip hop, we are somehow hating on these dudes coming up, which to me is real crazy because every what's up, more? every every generation of hip hop, and I don't care about your ratings. I really don't. Like, boy, bye. Every generation that comes out of hip hop is always criticized by the one before it, right? So the generation from the 80s criticized 90s hip hop. 90s hip hop now is criticized in 2000 hip hop. I think there was a gap, like literally between early 2000s to 2010s, where they were kind of in limbo. Like, it wasn't that bad, but you know, it wasn't great hip hop. You know, I can't. And during during the 2000 era, you had artists like Lil Wayne. I want to call that the mixtape era. Really when mixtapes were being pushed heavy, and where you had cats who were just like going off, just spitting hard body. That's where you had Papoose coming up, Cassidy coming up, where you had Fab in the mixtape game, Wayne in the mixtape game. You can't mention mixtape or mixtape hip hop without mentioning Lil Wayne, because at that point in time he dominated. D Block, Dipset, yo, everybody. If you was anybody in hip hop, your game was measured by your hip hop game, by your mixtape game. It wasn't based upon how many views you got on YouTube for your music video. It wasn't based upon how many downloads you got, because this is going to be another key point that I'm going to mention later on. It wasn't based on how many downloads you got on mods. It wasn't based on how many downloads you got on Apple or Spotify, anything like that, because at that point in time, during that 2000 era, during that mixtape era, you had Dat Piff was popping, so you could download mixtapes for free. You had LimeWire, you had Aries, you had FrostWire, you had all these what do we call them joints again? It's been so long since we used them. It's been so long since we used them joints that I can't remember what the hell they're like literally called, but you know, where you download free music. God damn, the Napsters and stuff. So you had those type of things where everybody had the access to the music. Everybody had the access to the music. P2P, yes, P2P software. Thank you, Martinez. Peer-to-peer, right? Because that's what it was. It was free information sharing. We were sharing free music. We were sharing videos and stuff like that. But let us, aside from the movies and stuff like that were streamed from it, it was the music that was really that really had that audience of the P2P software. Okay, so in one of these discussions that I was watching, it was saying how yes, LimeWire was very lit. Actually, for me, Aries was more lit, because I got all the Wayne Drought tapes on LimeWire. Aries for me is more lit because through Aries, you didn't have to search this song or search this album. You typed in the artist's name and it gave you their whole discography. Yo, I went crazy on there. I had the super thick iPod, right? I think it was something like 32 gigs, and 32 gigs back then was crazy or was it 64? I think it was 64. I had a crazy amount of space, and I had something like 10,000 songs on my playlist from every genre, right? So I was listening to rap, I was listening to rock, I was listening to every genre except for country, because that's not my steez. You know, I know we created it, but that's not my steez. Dat Piff mixtape set the streaming off. It did. Dat Piff made way for SoundCloud. Because if you was on Dat Piff, that means you had to be hot. Dat Piff was like World Star minus the bullshit, right? Because World Star likes to act like it's putting underground artists on when all it really is hiding the smut. World Star hip hop is BET Uncut, basically. That's what World Star hip hop is, BET Uncut. Because you have basically the music videos but all it is smut wrapped up in a music video. So that Piff was really what set the tone for SoundCloud and World Star Hip Hop. Because that Piff, you had to be fire to be on that Piff, because Heads was going to let you know that your mixtape was trash. Because there was plenty of trash mixtapes, yo. Oh, man. I'm getting all nostalgic now. Let me get back to the day before I start crying, wanting to get in a time machine and going back to 2000 or whatever. So, boom. During the 90s, when as a hip hop artist, as an MC, when you were coming up, you came up under those dudes in the 80s, and those dudes in the 80s came up under those dudes in the 70s. Now, we all know the history of hip hop, right? Maybe we don't. Maybe some mores on here don't know the history of hip hop or where it started, right? People like to say, oh, hip hop started during I think it's 1978. They coined it 1978. I want to say 1978, but little do people know hip hop been around before 1978, right? Before Grandmaster Flash, before African Bambaataa, before those peace Sahar, peace my love, before those who we call the forefathers of hip hop, right? Before those dudes, hip hop been around. Hip hop was already in the streets, and even if you want to take it even further, the scatting during jazz, we can call that hip hop, right? They were ad-libbing. They were doing what DJs doing, hyping up crowds and stuff like that during jazz era, right? So we took those forms and we kind of integrated it into now where we have a set list where we're taking the 80s disco music, right? Because at that point in time, people were saying disco's dying, disco's trash. We took a dying art form, disco, and we turned it into something that we could use to convey our stories, to hype up a party. And basically what we were doing was, here we go. That's cool. You could. I just want to let you know I'm not Sabir, so I'm gonna let anybody have at you. I'm gonna let anybody have at you. Ain't nobody gonna lie. I don't got no mods neither, so you ain't gonna be on timeout. And I'm not the nice guy. Just FYI. So boom. So then you have the notorious party in 1978, in August 1978, right? Where we set off, where hip hop was supposedly set off, where hip hop was supposedly, born, even though it's been around for a long time. So you have those cats, and the dudes in the 80s, the dudes in the 80s were the ones who were children at the time. You know what I'm saying? Children at the time who weren't allowed or weren't able to get access to those parties, right? And it wasn't until those parties moved from inside the homes to outside on the block, right? To where it was where they were plugging up their systems to light posts in the park, right? And playing music in the park, to where you could be walking down the street and you hear doom doom doom. Dude, and you like, damn, where that music coming from? And you had to follow it. No one was telling you, yo, there's a party here, there's a party there. No one was sending it out on social media. You had to hear it, and you had to go there yourself to experience it. So these 80s cats went there and experienced the hip hop. That's how they started getting into hip hop. They were taught under the forefathers, right? So then you have these cats in the 80s who are taught under the forefathers, who are studying their craft. The 90s dudes also grew up under the 80s because, again, the disconnect, I believe, comes from these dudes, these little niggas growing up or coming up right now in the game, who it's not that they don't have access, because you have the internet, so you can Google and you could listen to all these cats. It's just it's not it's not near them. It's not on them. The days of people, you know, battle rap was another thing. During the mixtape era, battle rap was there. So you had cats who wasn't even on the mixtape game, but who were known as battle rappers. Now, it's been so long I can't even remember a lot of these dudes' names, right? Because once P2P software became outlawed, it was once P2P software became outlawed and degraded, now we made a separation to where the music that we were getting was solely fed through one lens, right? Because of the lens in the early 2000s was the mixtape lens, the battle rap scene lens, and then you had the mainstream lens, right? Because what we were hearing on battle rap wasn't what we were hearing on the radio. We was hearing what was we hearing at that time? Doop 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 doop, Laffy Taffy, and all those the Atlanta dudes coming out with the dance music, right? And whatever dance that you came up then became a song. So that's what we were getting on mainstream. Yeah, Laffy Taffy, but that I want to say rhythm, because that's what I'm used to calling a rhythm. That soundtrack or whatever in like Americans call it. In my white tee, yes. See, in my white tee, yep. It was the same rhythm. It was the same track, right? That they were just passing around at the time, and it was trash, but you were bopping to it. You couldn't help but bop it to it because they kept playing it, and you heard about 500 times on your way to work, and by the time you get to work, you know all the words and you singing it. Snap music. I think around that time, the South was really dominating. The Louisiana, ATL, Miami, all of them were kind of really making their mark. Whereas the 80s, it was strictly New York. The 90s is when we brought in the West Coast. The 2000s, I feel like we made space for other regions to kind of give in their flavor of hip hop, which was the South and the Midwest. Now the South, you either had that dance snap music, or you had like the gutter like boozy type, you know, music that you had back then, right? Or even still today, where they made a good point about this. Yes, they completely dumbed it down and started selling ringtones. Yes. Oh, I'm glad you brought up the ringtones, because ringtones was another one, right? Ringtones was another area, another vehicle of how hip hop kind of got out there. Because at that point in time, you had the Nextels. And the Nextels, I remember, had the loudest ringtones. You had about a minute worth of sound that you could upload for your Nextel. So whatever song you was feeling, whatever song was hot at the time, you had that playing on your Nextel. I had Lil Wayne on there. I had Young Jeezy on there. What song was it? It was a song with him and T.I. and somebody else. I forget. It's stuck in my head. Damn. I hate when this happens. I said, has Still Tipping. Oh, yes. And what's that type of music called? Screwed. Chopped and Screwed. So we had all these type of subgenres, right? And this is what these dudes like to call my 870 was chirping. I had the I see, if you had the 870, you was on it. You was hip and you was cool. You was real popular probably. I had the silver joint, just the big regular old silver joint. I just wanted the Nextel because everybody had the Nextel. I was like, yo, I gotta get one of this so I can be all ignorant on the bus in the back, and somebody like, where you at? We used to battle ringtones in school. Exactly. So at that time, you still had the cultural aspect of hip hop, where you had access to many subgenres. You didn't have to go on YouTube and find somebody who's underground. You didn't have to search too far to find different genres of music. My joint, I'm the realest nigga in it. You already know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Damn, now you're making me want to think, what's that song? Damn, with him and, see? I got my YouTube up right here. I'm about to Google that joint right now. My computer's mad slow though. Young Jeezy and T.I. Young Jeezy and T.I. Had my shit was on my hip. It wasn't top back. Was it this? No, it wasn't this. Damn, man. Maybe it was this one. It wasn't top back though. It wasn't this. I don't know. It wasn't that. I know it's gonna come to me later and I'm gonna be mad. Like, damn, that's the song. Yeah, you switched them out. You switched them out like every week or so. Like you would play something like, oh no, I'm gonna switch it out this week. Oh, I'm gonna switch it out this week. You had certain ringtones for certain people. It was the joint. It was an evolution of having the song playing on your voicemail, right? Because back then it used to be, or even before Nextels and stuff in the ringtone game, you had the voicemail game. So you would record whatever song, and the G-Unit era with all the NY beef, right? Right. So basically, my point is, you had access to many genres, many subgenres: the chop and screw, the snap music, the I would say old school, early trap music, where you actually were able to understand what they were saying, and their trap music was actually about stuff that they actually did in the trap, like Young Jeezy, and the gangs that he was associated with. I believe it was BMF. Yeah, it was BMF that he was associated with. I'm still trying to think of that damn song because it's really on my nerves. And now top back is in my head. So yes, so boom. After that, because like I said, when I had the Aries, I was able to download every, like, even if I didn't know every big song at the time, I had access to every big song, and then I learned every big song. Even though, nah, it wasn't that. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. Even though I didn't know every big song, I had access to every big song. Even though I had no clue at the time, like I knew his name, Rakim, but I didn't know none of his tracks. I was able to download his whole discography and learn who the hell Rakim was, and was like, yo, damn, and then learn about the beefs. See, right? Because we don't learn about the beefs. We don't learn about Rakim versus LL Cool J. Now when we think back then in hip hop, we think LL Cool J was the shit. Little did we know Rakim murdered him. The kids these days, I don't think they even know the depths of the Jay-Z and Nas beef, and how it wasn't just Jay-Z and Nas. It was different. It was two whole different boroughs going at it. It was Queens versus Brooklyn. You had a whole bunch of Queensbridge niggas and a whole bunch of Brooklyn niggas, right? Jay-Z and damn, who he bring up to Hot 977? Brought up a whole gang of people up to Hot 977 to go and talk shit on Nas, right? But Nas had all these people in the back of his corner, Prodigy and Mobb Deep in them, Noriega and them. Like, yo, there's so many, and none of these little niggas these days can even call out these dudes, right? Because they don't know their history. They're not studying their artistry because it's no longer a craft to them, right? Hip hop is not a craft to them. It's just a means of how they can garner not only money but garner fame. Could garner fame. Thoughts right now? I'm only saying that so I can still think of this song. If y'all got any thoughts at the point in time. Try to be mad slick with it. Like, what the fuck was his name is this song? Nah, no thoughts yet? Alright, so boom. Now we have the so-called drug culture, right? the drug culture. I can't even call any of this music trap music, because it's not trap music to me. Trap music would be me understanding your story and telling your story. Like, I'm just gonna go on Jeezy again for trying to think of the song. I was an R&B person. I mean, even R&B, we can throw R&B into this too, sis. We can throw R&B into this too. So R&B used to be about love music, right? During the 80s, it was all love music. And I'm in love with you this, and you broke my heart that, and da 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 da. So in the 90s, we started getting the more hip hop feel of R&B, right? So you had the TLCs, you had the Escapes and the SVWs, which still brought that love music flow, but they combined it with the hip hop swag. Aaliyah with her hip hop swag. She wasn't just strictly R&B, it was a combination. And even still, they were still talking about love. When men in R&B were singing, they didn't call their women bitches, and call their women hoes. None of that. When you were singing to a woman to garner her attention, to get her attention, it was baby this, it was beautiful that, it was sweetheart this, that, and the third. Today, R&B is basically rap music. Basically, I skipped it, John. I skipped the 2000s. So the 2000s R&B, it was moving from trying to get your girl and swooning your girl to being in the club, right? I ain't even going to Boyz II Men, New Edition, Jodeci, all of them. I ain't even going to that. But even still, with those same, like, you transferred over from Boyz II Men and New Edition, and you went over to 112, right? So 112, you got Anywhere, you got Peaches and Creams, all those stuff. It became to be more sexual. Yes, we're gonna get there. So even though it was still sexual, you still had the access to the different categories and the different subgenres. Where today you don't have that access. Not unless you're looking for it, because it's not provided mainstream. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, you had people on the rise. You had access to people on mainstream channels where you can get the sex R&B, you can get the love R&B, you can get the conscious hip hop, you can get the dance hip hop, you can get the trap hip hop, you can get the gangsta hip, you can get all of that on the same channel. Now it's drug music, a woman talking about her basically selling her ass, or she got the best pussy this, and da 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 da. More drug music, sex and drugs. Chris Brown made his transition. Chris Brown first started with Yo. Right? You remember Yo? I know you don't name, but excuse me, miss, I saw you from across the room. Right? Yo. He said, excuse me, miss. He didn't say, hey, yo, bitch. Excuse me, miss. But we changed from that to look at Chris Brown. Excuse me, miss, to these hoes ain't loyal. We went from excuse me, miss, strictly talking Chris Brown. Excuse me, miss, to these hoes ain't loyal. Right? Because once you're in the industry, regardless of what anybody try to tell you, once you are signed, you are compromised. Don't care. You can have the best intentions. You can write the best songs, and all of that. And this is no shots at Sabir or nothing like that. But take R. Kelly for instance, right? R. Kelly, I believe I can fly, but I'm pissing on bitches. You can go in and try to defend him all you want, but there's way too much evidence, video evidence, phone calls, him paying off families, being known in Chicago for waiting outside, middle schools and stuff like that, trying to lure girls to where parents in Chicago had to go pick up their kids before R. Kelly, the Pied Piper. I mean, he calls himself the Pied Piper. Seriously. The Pied Piper of R&B, using his music and using his celebrity and his fame to get little girls, right? What do you define as a teenager? What is a teenager really? Boy, you know what a teenager is. You about 40 years old. Why are you trying to mess with no 13, 14-year-old? And now he got smart, he got hip. So instead, yes, he was outside of middle schools. Look it up. There's, like I said, there's way too much evidence for you to just sit here and think that that's just a conspiracy that they were trying to put against R. Kelly. Because if it was, we wouldn't see R. Kelly. R. Kelly wouldn't be on the mat, right? So then he got smart, he got hip. All right, I'm not going to do anything with these little girls until they have the age of consent, 17, 18 years old. And that's when he came up again about having the little harem. What was it, last year or something like that? Having the little harem where all the parents were talking about, R. Kelly's holding my daughter hostage and da-da-da-da-da, right? But he's saying, I believe it. And the reason why the parents was like, oh, I'm okay with it is because R. Kelly is a legend. I thought those were just rumors. I can't believe that about R. Kelly because I grew up listening to R. Kelly. But this is the difference, right? We can't separate our love for the music versus the person. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you look at Michael Jordan, right? You can't deny that he is one of the greatest basketball players ever. That doesn't excuse the fact of him supporting the prison industrial complex with his sneakers. Or not supporting the prison, supporting slave labor with his sneakers and then buying and paying into the prison industrial complex, right? He's a great basketball player. Nobody can deny that. But look at his outside work. Fuck Jordan. I'm going to tell you that right now. Fuck Jordan. Excuse my French. And the Nuggets in another room, so I can go off a little bit right now. But yeah, so my question is, why did you move to Japan? Why do you care? Like, why? Are you really trolling on here? Seriously. Are you trolling on here? I'm military. That's why I'm in Japan. So, boy, I swear, it just come in and throw off your whole train of thought. Oh yeah, so R. Kelly, right? So we say, oh, R. Kelly, he's a great musician. He's a musical genius. He wrote for this person. He wrote for that person. Yeah, are you military? I don't think so. You're funny. You're a funny guy. Damn, how you get mods on here? I could put this dude on timeout. Go sit in the corner somewhere, Brendan. I knew as soon as I seen your follow subscription, I knew you was gonna be on the BS. I knew you was gonna be on the BS. So, boom. I forgot how I was gonna make that. Oh yeah, so everybody in the industry, I'm trying not to, but it's his comments. And you know me, dog. I'm not severe. I'm gonna say something. So, Lord, how do you get next time I'm on here, there's gonna be some mods out here because I can't deal with this. Y'all gonna need to get them for me. Being in the music industry, right? So once you sucked up in this industry, you gotta play by their games. You gotta play by their rules, right? You can't sit there and give the people what they need. You're gonna give the people what your production company want. You're gonna give the people what the production company want. All right. Hey, there we go. Sit in your timeout, my guy. Sit in the timeout, my guy. Sit in the timeout, my guy. I gotta do that shit myself. We said that last night. We knew you was coming. Yeah, definitely knew he was coming. That's all right. Made sure to wear my hair big and popping. All right. because I gotta watch it too. So you can't be in this music industry and be as big as R. Kelly is. He's a troll. That's who he is. You can't be as big as R. Kelly is if you're not gonna compromise. Exactly. Like y'all distraction are actually like positive. Like I can flow with y'all distractions. When you shooting up a question to me, I can flow with that. I can't flow with oh, your hair's mad big, how you gonna hide from more? Like, boy, if you don't sit your wannabe 6'1" ass down when you really 5'2", old shrimpy penis, get out of here, son. Get out of here. We can't even claim him to be more. He's not well endowed like Morris. Get out. He's a wannabe more. Oh, hybrid troglodyte head ass. Anyways, so you can't make it nowhere in this music industry in these days unless you're gonna compromise yourself. So remember, hashtag Kendrick said it, right? Hashtag Kendrick said it. Kendrick is not the type of dude that we see any, like, if you watch and if you understand and if you've been following this whole Illuminati conspiracy theory, this Satanist conspiracy theory, or whatever you want to call it, 3 fingers on each hand and his wheelchair pillows. Yeah. Get him, Barrett. Get him. So you can't make it nowhere unless you're willing to compromise. And there are many confirmations from various artists. There's way too much evidence to support these claims that when you're going into this music industry, especially when you're going into this music industry, there's a lot of rituals you have to go through. There's a lot of rituals you have to perform, right? You can't just, walk in and you got a huge following from, YouTube or SoundCloud like that and think they're not gonna tweak your formula. If you listen to Kendrick from Mad City, from Good Kid, Mad City, right, all the way to Damn, you can see how he's changed. You can see even his flow, right, what he talks about, how he comes across. You can see that he's changed. People want to go, oh, To Pimp a Butterfly, he was talking about the black man this, the black man that, but people don't understand how the game is played. They don't understand how the game is played. Same as how I was talking on my Instagram post about Monique. See? Yes, Good Kid, Mad City, yo. I think Section 880 was what put me on to Kendrick. And I got to shout out my cousin. My cousin's the one that put me on to Kendrick. I love Section 80. I never really messed with Kendrick, to be honest. Yeah. So Section 80 and Good Kid, Mad City was my joints, right? But I was more, at that time, I was more a Wiz kid. I was more a Wiz fan. Because Wiz, to me, was opening the door to another subculture of hip hop, which I want to call the hippie culture, right? He wasn't talking about popping guns or nothing like that. He was just smoking weed, right? But the style of music, what he chose to sample, to Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. What Wiz chose to what Wiz chose to sample, and people are still going in on this Instagram post that I posted about Monique. I'm gonna take a time out right now. So I posted an Instagram post about Monique and how I didn't update my payment info for Netflix. First of all, I didn't cancel Netflix because of Monique, right? I canceled my credit card. Yes, it is. His whole Cushion Orange Juice, yo, I can listen to that whole album from front to back multiple times because the vibes are so good. Because he sampled, like I said, what we did is we took a dying art, which was disco, and we remixed it. We sampled disco and we made it into hits, right? Apache. The song Apache, the disco song Apache, or the artist Apache, no one today would know who that is. But if you hear the beat, you would recognize that beat anywhere. Dun, 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 dun. You know that beat, but you don't know who it came from. You don't know who it was sampled from. Same with Wiz. Wiz sampled all over the place. Crazy samples. One of my friends hit me like, yo, I didn't know that the person that Wiz sampled this song from, I think it was Kid Frankie, was a white dude. You keep popping mess, I'm gonna end up blocking you. I block people. Trust me. Trust and believe that. So you keep popping mess, I'm gonna do that. I don't got no mods, so I'm gonna have to take time to do that for you, but I will do that for you cause you white. Nah, it's not cause you white, it's cause you a dumbass. Please. So on my Instagram post, I posted up Netflix emailing me talking about updating my Netflix account. And I said, I'm not going to update it until you pay Wanda Sykes and Monique, right? And people who don't say, like, I post stuff there about cymatics, I post stuff about consciousness, I post stuff about the Illuminati, I post stuff about all these things, chemtrails and waking our people up. But these people come out the woodwork and want to comment on something that's gonna evoke emotionalism. I love Netflix. You can't be talking about Netflix like that. You can't be talking about Netflix like that. They're not paying her because she's trash. Like, but at the same time, in the same breath, you want to be screaming, root for everybody because they're black. You're going to root for everybody because they're black, but yet and still, when you have a sister right here telling you, root for me, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. Oh, she's trash. Wanda Sykes is trash. Monique is trash. They not even funny. But Amy Schumer's funny to you? That's who's funny? Jerry Seinfeld's funny to you? Jerry Seinfeld's funny to you. What's the deal with airline food? That's funny to you? Bill Burr, that's funny to you? These people sit here and just go with whatever anybody is saying. Amy Schumer is definite trash, and I already talked about her on one of my previous videos touching upon this. But the only reason why I'm touching upon it is because they coming at me on my comments. Like, I don't know if y'all can get that type of notification on here, but my notifications is still going crazy because people are so involved in emotionalism. Monique is mad rich and she's worried about 500,000 K. You shouldn't be worried. Fuck Monique. Da 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 da. You shouldn't be doing that because it's only $10-15 that you're paying for Netflix. So why am I paying $10-15 for Netflix for content that I want to watch, but I don't have access to that content? Like the Get Down. I love the Get Down. I was so amped for season 3, and they're taking that down because they don't want to pay because it costs too much to produce that show. Sense8, it costs too much to produce that show. But I like those shows. But the same person's talking about those shows are trash. They're trash to you. They're trash to you. Same as how Monique is trash to you. But I don't think Monique would bring in the crowd she thinks she could bring. I'm not really sure about the details, though. It doesn't matter. The point of the matter is she wants to get paid what she feels she is worth. Much respect to those sisters, but Netflix is giving money to our people. I just need a clear-cut reason to boycott. But this is what my sister said. Oh, Netflix is, they got shows that are produced by and are about black empowerment. And I'm like, because it's popular. The same reason why we loved To Pimp a Butterfly and the reason why they backed To Pimp a Butterfly, the same reason that we loved Formation and the reason why they backed Formation, because they see that this woke movement is popular and it will garner money. Like I said in my last live, if it's not making money, they're not going to back it. If it's making the money, they're going to back it. So it's not about how funny you are. It's about how marketable you are. And Monique, unfortunately, is not marketable at this point in time. The trendy gonna stop bankrolling us. Yes, exactly. How much, and for that instance, how many black empowerment shows do you see on Netflix compared to other shows that you see on Netflix? Schumer isn't funnier than Sykes, but Burr is miles funnier than both. Just my opinion. And that could be your opinion. Like I said, it's all based on opinion. It's not, when you have something based on opinion, you're being subjective. You cannot bring subjective arguments into it. You cannot bring subjective opinions into objective arguments. Just like how you think Bill Burr is funny, I don't find him funny. But that's not a reason why either of the two shouldn't have their platform. And what I was saying was, instead of doing that, comedians should be based upon the crowds that they garner and how funny they are. Because if you all right, so say Bill Burr and Monique are both playing in the same city, right? So how many ever people is going to go see Bill Burr, that's going to go see Bill Burr, and he's going to make money off of that? How many ever people is going to go see Monique, is going to go see Monique, and she's going to make money off of that? That's how comedians should be. What they're bringing to the stage, not how marketable are they. Because Amy Schumer is marketable. She is a blonde white woman who talks about sex and how easy it is that she can have sex with everybody. Oh, haha, super funny. Sarah Silverstein, that girl is drier than freaking stale bread. I don't get it. Who you got for top 5 comedians in terms of how funny I think they are? Stand-up wise, I definitely think Dave Chappelle is up there. Definitely think Martin Lawrence is up there. Definitely think, but they're never gonna play fair. She should support Kevin Hart platform, but put her special there. Yeah, so even see, and this again, this is how we differ, right? This is how opinions happen. I don't think Kevin Hart is funny at all, whatsoever. But is me thinking that he's not funny saying that he shouldn't deserve the pay that he's gonna get because other people think that he's funny, the same way that other people think Monique is funny? Because it's cool to trash Monique now because she's going against the industry, and that's why she's being blackballed, because she's speaking out about shit that she's seeing. She made an enemy of Oprah, and you don't make enemy of Oprah. That's like making an enemy of Beyonce. You ending your career at that point in time. So she goes against the system, therefore everybody starts blackballing her, therefore we see her being blackballed, we see memes being made, and the same woman, he's not, I believe his platform will be great for comedians. Absolutely. And just because I don't like his comedy doesn't mean I wouldn't support that. Because if you're truly trying to do something to give, like I said, even though these people understand that they have insider knowledge, understand what they're doing to further like being the gatekeepers of this system, they're still human at heart. They're still human at heart. So even if it's a little thing that they're gonna do to try to open up the doors for people, like Russell Simmons and Def Comedy Jam. Monique has 2,000 followers, 200,000 followers on IG. Kevin, I don't think she's gonna get over 500K first. But this is the thing though. It doesn't matter what you think she's gonna get. It matters about her. It matters about her. So say you, right, as a person, you're going to go work at a job, right? The job is going to, and you have all these credentials, you have experience, you have degrees, you have all of that. The job is going to offer you only entry-level position pay. You're going to say to yourself, after all that work that you put in, all the experience that you garnered, all the time and money that you spent getting into the degrees, you're going to settle for entry-level pay because that's what the company thinks that they should pay you? Or are you going to keep searching for other companies? That's what I'm saying. It's irregardless of what the company thinks that they should pay you. It's how much do you know you are worth. Again, people talking about, oh, raise the pay for this people, raise the pay for that people. Well, if we're going by the same logic, McDonald's don't gotta pay nobody $15. McDonald's don't gotta pay nobody $50 because they don't think you're worth $15, and we should all be okay with that. We should all be okay with McDonald's not paying nobody $15 if we're going by the same logic, right? She doesn't have that much value. You don't have that much value to McDonald's. Create our own. I'm not with a boycott with people that ain't going to play fair. And this is the thing, and this is what I don't I don't get about our people sometimes, and this is not no shot at you, Barrett. This is just general analysis of what I don't get about my people. It's too easy for me to not spend money somewhere because A, that's putting money back in my pocket because Netflix was raising the prices anyways, and there was only still about 3-4 shows that I even cared to watch on Netflix. So that it's not hurting me. I feel like a lot of stuff, like acting comedians and stuff these days, they look at how popular they are on social media instead of creative. Exactly. It's about marketability. It's about marketability. And when you put an Amy Schumer next to a Monique, if we're going to be honest, in mainstream, Amy Schumer is more marketable than Monique. Majority of Netflix shows are boring, to be honest. Some of them are because they take away, from content, interesting content, like Sense8, like The Get Down. They take away from interesting content and push money into content where they believe is marketable, like Bright, right? They paid millions right after saying they canceled Get Down and the Sense8 so they can save money. They removed whatever money that they were saving in the Get Down and stuff. They pushed it into Bright. Like right after they canceled that, they announced, oh, Will Smith is gonna be in a Netflix movie called Bright, right? And then they're doing a number 2. We know they ain't shit, so let's create our own Know Your Worth and put your money. It's so-called Black Netflix now. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People won't do that because they're so emotionally attached to Netflix and chill. Oh, everybody has Netflix, so I need to have Netflix. I need to be hip to what everybody's talking about. Oh, another season of 13 Reasons Why, which is complete trash. Oh, that's out. Okay, I'm a binge watch it, and then we're gonna talk about it at the water cooler for a month or a week or whatever, and then move on to the next, right? Because that's what they like. Their attention is so tunnel vision that once they get a new shiny thing on the wall, like a cat, once you shine a new laser somewhere, they're already over there on the laser and they forgot about whatever you was talking about before. That's what I'm saying. Freaking weeks ago we was talking about Root for Everybody Black. Oh, what else? What other the thing? I think it was some during the SAG Awards. Oh, if he's black, can I say his name? Because we gotta, all this. But yet and still, when it comes to practical applications of that, we not ready to let go of the emotionalism, of the emotional attachment that we hold to things, right? Boycotting, right? I find it's too easy for me to divert my cash flow into somebody's hands where I believe that they got better intentions, right? It's too easy for me to do that. But for some people, it's not. Oh, I don't see how that's going to work. Well, a lot of people were saying, oh, I don't see how boycotting or not watching the NFL is going to work. So I'm going to watch it anyways because it doesn't matter if one person like me watches it or not. It's not going to make a difference. And we've seen how that went, right? We've seen how that went. Nobody was watching it for amount of time, whether you was pro or con, right? Nobody was watching it because the protesters were kneeling and disrespecting the flag, right? And then nobody was watching it because the NFL was taking extreme measures against the protesters who were kneeling, right? So you lost both ways. They lost viewers both ways. Don't get me wrong. I will drop Netflix, no issue. I drop a lot of shit. But this one I feel like it's a reach because she knows our people are emotionally charged. I agree. And it's just like with the coolest monkey in the jungle, thing, it's emotional. It's emotional. It's emotionally based, and she knows that people are charged by are motivated. Man, we're charged by racial motivation or whatever. If I'm not saying it the right way, but you know what I'm talking about. Monique is being portrayed as a difficult yes, as a non-conformist. Exactly. And for that reason, it's too easy for us to get on that bandwagon and say the same thing. Oh, well, she is not that funny anyways. So, and she knows that she don't got that big of a following. But it's not about that. It's again about how much you're worth and what are you settling for. And guess what? I seen so many so-called blacks in exactly. We were so mad about this little coolest monkey in the jungle, but as soon as they did 80% off, we were flocking. Well, if it's 80% off of jeans, I'm gonna go get my jeans, and I'm gonna go get my bags, and I'm gonna go get my jackets, and I'm gonna go get my slave chains. It's cool. I'll be the coolest monkey in the jungle for that. You even seen memes that day with the whole coolest monkey in the jungle. The little ape or whatever, I think it was Caesar or whatever, in a suit saying, me, if H&M offered me $7 million, this is how I would be. The parents said, chill the fuck out, but the left feminist social justice warriors won't let it go. So again, we know that racial stuff charges us, and we are motivated by racial stuff. So Monique thought that if she used the race thing, know your worth and have integrity. I got so mad at that meme, but people thought it was funny because we don't know how to handle these things emotionally. What's up, King? Yo, you put me onto the grapevine, yo. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. You put me onto the grapevine. Thank you. I appreciate you. Monique thought that using that racial stuff, our people are like sheep being led to the slaughter. Yeah, and we have others trying to deviate us from that. But we're so quick to condemn them because they don't conform to what we think. I wonder if Russian bots make those things, or we're just that lost. We're just that lost. People don't care about the message. They care about the likes. They care about the follows. So if I make a dank meme, people are gonna like my dank meme, and I'm gonna get social media fame, even for just a minute. I'm gonna get 100,000 retweets on Twitter. Is it a gender or a race boycott? It's not clear. That's what I'm saying. She is using this emotionalism. She's trying to use this emotionalism to get backing from our people, because our people don't back us, period. So she's like, okay, and I dropped NFL like a bad habit. I haven't watched, and my team is the Patriots. We're in the Super Bowl again today. Ask me if a Super Bowl again this year. Ask me if I'm gonna watch it. Ask me if I watched the AFC championships. Ask me if I watched a lick of football this season. I have not. And I can tell you, one of the sports that I always consistently watch, I didn't care about basketball. I didn't care about baseball. Football was my favorite sports to watch here. So if I was still into football, I'd be like, fuck the Ravens, right? But I don't care, because it's all little subcultures, right? It's all little subcultures to keep us divided. Even if we don't know each other, right? If we were still emotionally based in, I love the Patriots and you love the Ravens, we wouldn't like each other, because the Patriots and the Ravens have a rivalry. I just want to know, where was the self-dignity from black folks pre-2012? Like I said, it's a fad. It's a fad. People see things becoming trendy. People see things being hip, and then they start getting into it, like the grapevine, right? Things that are trendy, things that are hip, that's what we talk about. That's what charges us emotionally, and we are so based on emotionalism. Even though we are a masculine society and we're not in touch with our feminine side, we are emotionalist as F. I have to, censor myself now because the nuggets right here. But we are emotional as heck, right? But it's emotionalism that's not based on logic. It's just based on what we are fed and what we're programmed to be emotional about. So back to Monique, she was using the whole black-white thing, male versus female thing, to try and get support for her cause, which is a legitimate cause. Look at this video. This happened after the H&M. I low-key lost hope when I saw it. On what video are you talking about? Grapevine is the emotional center. Yes, it is. We need to boycott some more serious stuff, but we won't. We won't. I remember when Alton Sterling and who was the other one that died right around that time? Nugget is ear hustling. He is. Now you can't send the link here. So just drop it on the comment or inbox me or something, DM me or something like that. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Somebody said something about, yes, the grapevine is the emotional center. But what and I watched the video because they were talking about She's Gotta Have It. I don't know if any of you guys seen this on Netflix, but the like revamp of Spike Lee's movie She's Gotta Have It, they made it into a series. Yes, Alton. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. So boom, I'll put She's Gotta Have It on the back burner and talk about Alton Sterling and somebody else died. I think it wasn't Philando. It wasn't, but they died basically in the same day, right? We watched Alton Sterling get choked out and die, and then somebody else on that same day. Was it Philando the same day? Because it was like literally in the same day that I seen those two videos, and I was like, all right, I'm done. No, Eric Garner was the one that got choked out in New York. Alton Sterling was the one that got shot. Like they had the video and the dude shot him right there, and you seen it was really graphic. You seen him get shot, and then we seen I guess it's Philando who got shot as well in the same day. So I posted like, yo, we can't keep letting people get away with this. And this is not, yes, they are emotional triggers, but whether is it going to trigger positive action for emotions, or is it going to trigger negative action for emotions? Are we going to sit there and go riot and bust down our own neighborhoods, or are we actually going to put good use to the energy that we had? So what I suggested and what other people suggested was to stop spending money with the corporations, because the corporations are the one who owns these municipalities that we call the police, right? If you know anything about the hierarchy of our current government in the U.S., our current government, probably everywhere else too, is that the corporations are the ones that are in charge. So when you stop spending money with these corporations, nope, are people chasing their tails again? Yep, just complacent energy. Not even, sometimes like we will riot for a little bit and then it will become complacent, just like everything. We was all mad about H&M and then we became complacent when we saw that 80% off discount, right? So I put out I retweeted something that said, oh, we need to boycott, Walmart, we need to boycott Costco's and all these big corporations where we know they have ties to the government, right? And we are going to march holes in the soles of our shoes. We're going to march holes into the ground. That's what we're going to do. Keep marching around your city hall. All you're going to do is build a moat for them. So then you definitely can't get to these dudes when you want to, because you just build them a moat and they don't got to build it themselves. So my aunt goes, oh, Walmart's on there, so I can't do it. I'm like, are you dead ass right now? I didn't even respond. But that's what happens when you become so-called woke, right? You start disconnecting yourself from the people around you. Negroes have too many trinkets to fight for something. Exactly. They are so emotionally connected to these. Well, I go to Walmart every week and I get this from Walmart all the time. They have my favorite pies, and that's all we think about. That's all we think about. We don't think about the bigger picture. We sit there and we cry, we retweet, we retreat, and we're sad, and we hashtag all these things. But when it comes to actual action, putting things into action, we don't do shit. Nuggets back over there. We don't do nada. It's ridiculous. Clothes are cheaper when you order it online. Yeah. But who are you ordering it from though? Because many of these online companies are subsidiaries of larger companies. Most of the people on Grapevine are all talk. But see, there's some people on there that I'm like, okay, they're a little bit woke. They're not always based on emotionalism, and some people, but I don't think there are many people on there who are completely objective. They're subjective. They're not completely objective. There are a few people on there that I vibe with. Like I said, I was watching a few of the videos. Look at how much hell they're giving LeVar for his shoes. We don't need their shit. I don't keep up. And we don't support our own brands. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Now they're waking up a little, asking questions now. Yeah, so of deviated from the music thing, but I say that to say this, that whenever you go against the status quo, you will get blackballed. You'll have your own people turn against you, and a lot of the times it's not warranted. It's not substantiated. With R. Kelly, it most definitely is. It most definitely is, and there's nothing you can tell me about that. That's different. There are other podcasts you watch, got two people on. They're always throwing subs at people for not concurring with them. That whole thing is like, you'll see somebody not agree with somebody and they'll sit there and roll their eyes and not care about their opinions or anything like that. And I understand that. It's understood. You get real from them. But what I'm saying is these people are stuck in their box. They can't see outside of it. They can't see that, oh, well, maybe feminism, you know, especially being a melanated woman, maybe feminine isn't for me, because you have these white feminists that sit here and do all these things and support themselves. But when something like this, like I said, with Monique happens, where are all these feminists? Where's this woman march for Monique? He was doing what they're doing to you guys. He's badass. Damn, what is homeboy here talking about? Some basketball shoes, which I really like. Who cares? Who cares about somebody's damn basketball shoes? Honestly, wear Feli's, wear New Balance. That's what Bill Gates wear. Bill Gates wear New Balance. I have a meme on black feminists. I'll send it to you. It's an oxymoron. It's an oxymoron, because this feminism movement don't care about so-called black women. They don't care about them, but yet they be the one to be the ones to support. I'm not saying support or not support. I'm just saying, why do we care? Why are we so emotional about somebody's damn basketball shoes? Like, that's not just like, and like I was saying about my thing, the Netflix post that I made. Why is there so much attention gone to that when there is plenty of other things that I post on my page that's not getting that much attention? But you're giving all the attention to somebody's damn Netflix and Monique, where if you care or not, if you don't care, then don't care. But rappers spend $6,000 on Gucci flip-flops. That's what I'm saying. It's all materialism. That who cares about it? Who cares about it? Because it doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist. These, if they were against the system, put your shoes out for free. Throw the system off balance if you're against the system. If you're against the system, throw the system off balance. They would spend thousands buying conflict diamonds African children died to mine. So, but like I said, regardless of materialism, like we're not talking about materialism. Because at the end of the day, if you understand what I practice and what's wrong with $500 shoes from LeVar. Biggest irritating thing I have with people on here is the inconsistent talking points. What you talking about, King? What you talking about? This is an open forum. Like I come in wanting to talk about something. I ended up talking about a whole different thing. But like I said, I don't care. I could build with y'all. I could build with y'all. I could, if it's positive and if it's going with the flow that I go with, then I can build with it. It's not a distraction to me. But like I said, if you know about me and the things that I practice, then you know that material things don't mean ish to me. That doesn't mean nothing to me, because at the end of the day, the place where I'm trying to get to, the spot that I'm trying to get to, it all ties back in, though, sis, still hip-hop. Yes, because hip-hop is not music. Hip-hop is the culture, and this is what our culture has become. Whereas before, if you had somebody, if you're talking about podcasters on here, give me an example of the inconsistent talking points that you're talking about. But if you see, now this afro making me hot. I'm getting all excited and moving and stuff like that. My ears are getting hot as hell. They should give it away, whether they want to give it away because it's their right. They have to make money too, right? They have to make money too. But we get mad at Yeezy or at because I don't want to call him Young Jeezy. Why he switching up his name like that? Kanye. We get mad at Kanye for making $1,000 bum shoes, right? But we still go out and buy them. We get mad at Kanye for making $1,000 bum shoes, even though Kanye, when he first came out, right? If you remember, if you follow Kanye, you catch an interview that he said, I want to make affordable apparel for my people, because I remember growing up and having to go to this discount store and buying this clothes for myself and not feeling good about myself. That's what he said. But here and still, after the Kardashian effect, he's selling $1,000 shoes. So like I said, these people come in with the best intentions, but when you are corrupted by the places that you are in, that's it for you. And many, many, many people have come forward saying how, you know, to get into the music industry, you have to do so and so, you have to do A, B, and C, and those who get far in the industry have done A, B, and C, and then perpetrate A, B, and C onto other people. Okay, so this whole thing, like, oh, they got, the best intentions now. From what I've done, for the research I've done, I might not know them in person, but the research I've done, yo, you gotta bring something to refute that. You gotta bring, like, you can't just hearsay. You can't be taking people's word for it. You have to, it's not shooting people. It's not shooting people. It's shooting up. It's drug music these days. So you having people talking about, well, it's a subculture. It's a subculture. You know, this is the evolution of hip hop. This is another genre of hip hop. And the Uzi Verts and the Young Thugs and all of them, they're just expressing themselves in a way that they want to express themselves, and we should accept that. And yeah, they are dying on drugs. They're dying for their culture. They're dying for a subculture that, in my opinion, is not going to exist in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. You're not going to have talking about, oh, the rap legend, what's his name? Lil Yachty. You're not going to talk about a rap legend, Lil Yachty. You're not going to talk a rap legend, Lil Dump. I don't even know who Fred Santana is. That's the crazy thing. When I heard people talking about him dying, I'm like, who the hell are they talking about? Because I don't know none of these cats. These cats is not in my reality. Example, people saying black men have patriarchy and how we're not accepting of homosexuality, but turn around and say black men are moist, weak, and don't protect the community. Bingo. I know now. See, now I know you're talking about the grapevine. Now I know you're talking about the grapevine. Any shoes over $100 is ridiculous. Listen, people are going to pay for what they want to pay for. At a point in time, I was paying $120, $140 for a pair of shoes. Not sneakers, shoes, heels. Because that's what I wanted to not just the grapevine. Oh, okay. That's what I held important at the time, was shoes and books. Really opposite ends of the spectrum, but I like shoes and I love books, so that's where my money was going to. This might be fucked up, but I don't feel bad for Fred or Lil Peep. I'm not gonna say I don't feel bad for them, because they chose their path. They chose that the way they wanted to go, so they accept the responsibilities on them. But just like how I feel for anybody, I still, you know, I still want to, like, I don't know how to put this, but I can give an example. Like when you push poison on the younger generation. But again, like how everybody's talking about the 90s, how they were the drug selling music. And now this generation is just drug using music. They're saying that that's correlated to that. But what I'm saying is, I'm indifferent to Fredo because of the death style that they promote. I feel bad for Fredo because he quit last year, but the damage was done. The crazy thing is, like, before social media, I didn't even know who this dude was. And it's crazy to me, like, where do they come from? I don't know where they come from. Just like I don't know where you came from, Nugget. You crazy? Is Japanese society more respectful and less judgmental than the West? No, they are super judgmental. There was a letter in BK, what's up, Hannibal, back in the early 90s that divulged the big conspiracy to hijack hip-hop, corrupt the lyrics, and the soul of the music. It was a message to it, though, in the 90s and early 2000s. Yes, there was a message, but what I'm saying is what this younger generation is doing is trying to place the blame on for their actions, place the blame on the generation before it, saying, you guys were selling the drugs. Now you're mad at us for using the drugs. Let's not pump, fake, and act like this drug abuse is new. Thank you, King. Thank you, because it's not new. We have drug users and stuff like that, but the only thing that's new about it is it's cool. It's cool, right? Imagine if this Xan was crack, right? And we're all talking about, yeah, I be lighting my pipe in the back of the alley, and I'm so hip, and I'm so high, and next time I crash, I'm about to go rob somebody so I can pay for my crack addiction. That's basically the music we're talking about, except we're talking about lean and Xan. That's it. That's the only difference, is the drug that we're using. If we were talking about crack, imagine how crazy to us, knowing what crack does and what crack babies are and the whole crack culture, us knowing that. Imagine if these little kids was talking about crack. Would we still be thinking it's so hip and it's so cool to be talking about crack? Because it's the same thing. Like King said, the drug game is nothing new. There's nothing new about the drugs, the drug addiction and the drug using, right? There's nothing new about it. The only thing that is new is we are making it cool. Nobody was trying to make using crack cool in the 90s. George Clinton was the biggest rung around with Busty Collins. What are you talking about? Talking about drug users? You talking about drug users? I ain't gonna front. Wu-Tang was talking about crack. Talking about using crack? Man, listen, if they were talking about, and this is my opinion from the music that I hear, from the G-Eazy said on the Breakfast Club that he sneaks coke to have fun, real casual. I was like, wow. Drug abuse in the music industry. Yes, so coke for some reason is a cool version of crack. That's all it is. People who, because I don't know if anybody knows, like, I feel like we got a lot of hood people on here, so we know about freebasing, right? DMX was talking about smoking crack. Yes, but he wasn't saying, oh, I love to smoke crack. Crack is the new thing. If you don't smoke crack, you whack. Old Dirty and the Chef. Yes, we knew that they was on drugs, but they wasn't. These young rappers are void of morals and purposely twisted on sexual orientation. But people would say, oh, this is them being liberated. This is them getting in touch with their feminine side. This is them being emotional. This is them, and rap is misogynistic. Little do they know that these same dudes wearing dresses and skirts and stuff like that are the ones that are still saying, fuck these bitches. What Kodak Black say? What did Kodak Black say in that interview that everybody got mad about him about? Talking about light skinned, dark skinned women. Damn, what did he say? He said something. Oh, light skinned women are easy to trap or something like that, or easy to trick or something like that. Basically saying, yeah, he don't like dark-skinned women, but he said the reason why he likes light-skinned women is because they are easy to track, or they are easy to get, or something like that. They are easy to trick. He says something along the lines talking about their mentality. Like light-skinned women are easier to... It was designed by powers that be. It was to slow our people's movement. Thank you, King. Light-skinned women are easier to break down. Thank you. That's what he was talking about. But you still got these dudes dressing in skirts and tight ass shirts and dresses and pants no longer hanging off the ass. Their pants are on their knees, and they're still talking about the same thing. But people would say, "Oh no, they're being free. They're expressing emotional, femininity, because the misogyny, the patriarchy runs hip hop, and Cardi B and what's her name, Nicki Minaj, they're expressing themselves. They're going against the patriarchy when they're not. They're saying the same things that the dudes are saying, and they're portraying the same things that the dudes are saying. The dudes are saying you ain't nothing but a trash hoe. You ain't a loyal hoe. All you good for is ass and pussy. And then these same women are saying the same thing. All I'm good for is ass and pussy. I got the best pussy around. Your man loves my pussy. I'll take your man. I'll take your man. I'll sleep with your man Monday through Friday, and you can have him on Wednesday. Like, who does that? Who does that? Projects in America, schemes, something in Scotland. I don't know. Fuck he said. So yeah, so you're basically saying they're saying the same thing. It's the same message being put out. It's the same message and being put out. So the disconnect between these younger cats versus the cats in the 90s, the homosexual agenda was set back in the 50s during a secret meeting to target Asiatics. Hannibal coming through dropping knowledge as usual. But see, the homosexual agenda, and some people don't really understand it. Islam. Some people don't really understand this homosexual agenda. They kind of get wrapped up in what we see as homosexuality. They don't understand the logistics behind it, right? They don't understand, well, how does homosexuality, how does that hurt us as a people? We should be supporting each other. We should let these dudes come out the closet because they be killing themselves because of all of this. And regardless of, like I said, I don't hate nobody. And anybody's choice is their choice, because that is how we are set as divine beings. A scheme is what project is called in Scotland. So is it in Jamaica. They call projects and schemes. So, boom. Damn it. Oh, yeah. So, homosexuality, right? I'm not knocking anybody of how they choose to experience this life, because they are their own divine beings. That, along with our music, hip-hop culture, was targeted because we are influenced by them. Yes, we are influenced by hip-hop. So instead of this small demographic of people who were born homosexual due to chemicals being put into their system, into their mother's womb and water and stuff like that, which is why they're born homosexual. If you see many research and many studies done on certain chemicals that are found in water, that are found in formula, that are found in food and in plastics and products that we use, these chemicals change the anatomy of animals. Like they did one where they found that the chemical in the river, that the seepage and the chemicals in the rivers changed the anatomy of the fish from male to female. They found a study where the anatomy of rats were changed in the mom's womb from male to female or female to male. Too much estrogen in the world. It's not too much estrogen in the world. It's chemicals. It's a chemical imbalance. Frogs. Yes, I think that's what it was. Not fish. Well, they was fish, but not rats. Frogs. Yes, the frogs. So, boom, you're born homosexual. But even still, that was a very, 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 very small demographic. And whether they were born homosexual or not, it wasn't something that they flaunted, in front of children to kind of set the tone of what children find acceptable, because children at the age of 6, 7, 8 years old are not aware about sexuality. That's not what they're not even aware. Like, they understand that I'm a boy and you're a girl, but they don't understand the concept of what female and male is. Chemicals and mass suggestions were placed in our environments to cause homosexual birth. Yes, exactly. But then now in my research of what I've gathered, so this is my opinion, it isn't concrete fact yet, but from what I've gathered, now homosexuality is something that's been pushed so much into our subliminals, has been pushed so much that we start to accept it. And not only do we accept it, but we sit there and say, okay, well, as a so-called black man, I'm getting shot down, I'm getting gunned down, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. I don't get that much right compared to my women, the black women, the so-called black women. So I'm just going to change my sex completely. I'm going to start identifying as a woman. And once I'm effeminate enough, I no longer become a threat, right? Effeminate men, frail men, gay men are no longer a threat to the dominant society. They're no longer a threat. So you don't even have to be changed chemically or compositionally. You just got to be changed in your mind. Your mind frame got to be changed to be like, okay, well, you know, I see this happening, I see that happening. I don't want to take responsibility as being the man and having the man's place, that I'm going to switch over and be the woman's place. So that to me is now what homosexuality has become. Just like, much like in the 2000s, where women started coming out saying that they're bisexual because Nicki Minaj said that she was bisexual. It was suggestive. It was suggestive. Hence why brothers can't get in corporate America. Exactly. Exactly. But women do. So-called black women do, right? So-called black women get into corporate America. I know the U.S. military was playing with chemicals that turn people of the same sex. My bad, y'all. I had a phone call. Can y'all still see me? Can y'all hear me? What's up with it? Yay, nay? Okay. Do we have audio and visual? Because I remember yesterday we only had audio and there was no visual. I had a phone call coming in, so I had to quick decline that phone call. I had a phone call. My bad. So More Comedy said Google gay bomb. But even still, the Nazis were, I don't believe you're born anything. I think it's a choice you have at a young age. I'm honest to say I don't get gay people or speak to them, but tranny is a clear mental illness. But if you don't believe you think it's okay, your choice you have it, all right. If it's a choice you have at a young age, like I said before in my other video about the transgender 7-year-old who believed that he was a she or she was a he, I don't remember. At that age, at 6, 7, 8-year-olds, you are not aware of a sexual identity unless you have trauma. Unless you're exposed to sexual trauma at a young age. And that's where you begin to develop a sexual identity. I didn't have a sexual identity until I was about 12 years old because, and I grew up in the 90s, so none of that was pushed on me. I wasn't aware of it. I aware that I had private parts, I aware that I had different parts, but I wasn't aware of, you know, my feelings towards boys because it wasn't there. I didn't care for boys. Boys were just, you know, they were boys. They were rougher. They did this and they did that. Like none of that mattered to me. At this day and age, what I'm saying is you have gay males who are openly gay, and I'm not saying anybody should be like not living their truth, but you're openly gay, you're adopting young children, and you're putting that, and that's the only frame of mind that you're putting them in. You're not exposing them to anywhere else where they'll be able to form based on their own opinion how they want to feel. You're subjecting them to the parents responsible for raising a child. They should not switch a child's sex. Exactly. But some of them would be like, well, no, I've read stories about really messed up parents who sit there and make their child believe that they are the opposite gender of what they are. And it's not the child that's saying it. It's the parents projecting it onto the child because that's what they want. I wanted a girl, but I have a little boy, so I'm going to raise my little boy as a girl. It's so messed up. It is so messed up. And that's the society that we built today. These kids are not born transgender. They are made transgender. They are made transgender. You're not born that way. You can't be born that way because as a child, when you're born, you're not thinking of sexuality. You are born in innocence. You're not thinking about that. It's just like what so-called Adam and Eve, when they bit from the apple from the tree of knowledge. They did not have any concept of them being naked. They were innocent. They were pure. But until they bit from the apple, that's when they started saying, oh, shoot, I got this and I got that. Let me cover up. Let me have shame. I don't think orphans should be gave to same-sex parents. It is what it is. It is what it is. But even if they are given to even if same-sex parents adopt children, they should expose them to everything, not just their way of living, not just, oh, there's daddy and this is okay and this is how it is this days. You know, you don't have to like a girl, you don't have to do that. And even more radical parents, you don't like girls, you like boys, influencing the child, putting your influence on the child. So now the child is growing up thinking, oh, well, you know, I see my dad and that's okay, and you know, I like boys too, I don't know what a girl is, or I am a girl, you know, because my dad wanted a girl, so I'm a girl now. And the children are gonna go with what their parents are saying because they're children. You're correct, they should choose. But let's be honest, they're not showing kids reality, they're just raising them as a commodity like they would be getting a little dog. You could say that, but you can also say that about what's her face, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, adopting all these little adopting Asian kids. Side note, I grew up with a dude and we knew he was going to be gay. He was like 10, sure enough 20 years later he's gay. But that's what I'm saying. It's not, if you see homosexuality, if you look at the history of homosexuality, where is homosexuality? Homosexuality was practiced among the elites in the political realm of Greek and Romans, right? That's where homosexuality, Saturnalia, just homosexual, just nasty orgies of homosexual men. And the reason why they did that is the same reason why it happens in the music industry, is to gain the sexual energy to assert the dominance over the man. That's what they did. It was men asserting the dominance over the other man and reaping that sexual energy, which is what the so-called Illuminati, the so-called satanic masons and stuff like that, that's what they're doing. They're reaping the energy, the sexual energy from this man. Same with what they do with the women. Now with the women, it's 10 times worse because they have more holes. They have more holes. So the women are reduced to not just being penetrated, but being completely, like if 50 shades darker was, you know, 100 shades darker, that's what they, you know, that's what they practice when it happens with women. And that's why women are even like more, if you look at MK Ultra, the nasty fruity pebbles who do that in secret are off from normal society. The fruity pebbles. So if you look at it, that's where homosexuality started, as the dominance and the energy siphoning of other men. So where you have MK Ultra, right? The women are the ones who we see under massive dissociative identity disorders and breaking down of their mental compartments. That's why you have these Nicki Minaj with being Roman and whoever else she got in her head, Beyonce with Saucer Fierce, you have Lady Gaga with all the little voices she said she'd be hearing. God damn, was it Katy Perry? There's just so much starting from the beginning with Marilyn Monroe and going on to all these other women, that they're broken down in a completely different. The way that they break down the men is strictly through homosexuality acts. Strictly Kung Fu Kenny. Who's Kung Fu Kenny? Men are broken down through homosexual acts, the taking of their butts, right? That's how men are broken down. They take their butts and they reap the energy that they're getting from that, the fear and the submissive energy. Oh, Kendrick Lamar, and that's what I'm saying. When people talk about Kendrick Lamar, his name that he went by before was K-Dot, right? Now he's no longer K-Dot. He's other people, and that's what I'm saying. Kendrick said it. Kendrick said it. Hashtag Kendrick said it. Those who know, right? So we say, oh, he was talking about To Pimp a Butterfly, you know, he was talking about the so-called black man's plight, you know, he said we ain't black no more, we Hebrew Israelites. But people don't understand that they are watching us, they're watching our black Twitter feeds, they're watching our conscious community on Instagram and on YouTube, and they're seeing, okay, well, this is the hot button topic, this is the hot button topic, this has a following, we could use this to be decisive. So we take the people that, you know, we look up to. Now, but see, people would call it pro-black, the same way they would call formation pro-black. Just because you're wearing your hair in a pseudo blonde fro. I will one day break that down with MK Ultra, Black Ops, hypnosis, and social engineering. Hypnosis, mass suggestion to control through fear, greed, and sex. Yes. So, I would love to see your take on it, strictly from our perspective, because the perspective that I have been taking on it is what Europeans have out in other Europeans, right? It's been focused mostly. To Pimp a Butterfly was more of his confliction with celebrity. So there, boom, thank you for bringing that up. So you see that, right? The confliction with celebrity. So he's fighting himself like many of these artists do they're conflicted with, do I want to continue on this path, or do I want to take the righteous path and go separate? And we obviously see with Damn where the path that Kendrick Lamar took. If you study anything about the symbols that they use, they're perverting our masonry and using it for their means. If you pay attention to those symbols, you see that Kendrick Lamar has fallen into all of those symbols. So Kendrick Lamar to us is gone. He's no longer Kendrick Lamar. Let's make that point blank clear, because if he was, who came up in his same era, right? That's why Pac was at the end of the album. Yeah. So who came up in his era? Who came up in his freshman class? Remember that quote I sent you? When the ant colony loses their queens, the males turn into females. What about it? Are you saying loses their queen in hip hop? Like we don't have any more queens in hip hop? I can see that. I can see how that would apply to hip hop, because if you look at it, there are no strong females, right? Strong positive females in hip hop like there was, right? Even though the female group was pretty small in hip hop, we still had them, right? And they were still, you know, focused and preaching on positivity of not being, they held on to their masculinity. Society, period, because art imitates life. Yes, art imitates life. Study nature and get you a better understanding of humans. Lil B, Machine Gun Kelly, Dom Kennedy, and some others. What are you? King. I don't know, King saying. So, you talking about who came up in his group. Yeah, so, but you forgetting J. Cole. You forgetting J. Cole. J. Cole, I think, is one of his biggest rivals, right? Is either you a Cole fan or you a Kendrick fan, right? Cole or Kendrick. And then if you even want to, you can toss Big Sean up in there. Now look at J. Cole. Is J. Cole knowing, and I this is just my personal preference. I prefer J. Cole over Kendrick Lamar. I always preferred his method of rapping. I always preferred the way his cadence and the way that he spoke and his metaphors and stuff like that, and how he pushed out his message compared to Lamar. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. Boy, if you don't get Drake out of here, if you don't get Drake old wheelchair Jimmy ass having out of here, get his ass out of here. Oh, fake Jamaican. I piggyback off the ant colony point. Drake is here we going. We going in on Drake. It's Drake has his place, but I would never in a million years put Drake in the same category as a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole. But yeah, so J. Cole is in that same group, right? But do we see J. Cole having the same push behind him as Kendrick Lamar? I ain't gonna lie, bro, that's my favorite rapper. That's because you in the Caribbean, and that's who they pumping out in the Caribbean. They're pumping out Drake in the Caribbean. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. More tunes for your head top. Shut up, Drake. Lil Pump energies out the roof. Who is Lil Pump? Who is that? I don't know who you're talking about. Cole had Jay-Z as his man behind him for a little while, though. For a little while. What was it? The song "I Let Nas Down." I Let Nas Down. He's telling you exactly, and everybody's talking about, oh, he was. If you listen to that song, people on the like superficial side would be like, oh, he was saying that he let Nas down because he didn't live up to Nas's expectations. What he was really telling you is that he let Nas down because we already know Nas has been initiated into that little group, that Boule, right? He's been initiated. He's ass now because he's been initiated. Nah, but y'all didn't think Drake snapped when he actually... Drake doesn't write his own raps. Drake doesn't write his own... We know who his ghostwriter is. We know who his ghostwriter is. So Drake is an actor, and that's what he does. He's acting, and he's a good actor. That's what he does. So, God damn it. With this damn Drake stuff, oh bum. Oh yeah, Nas down. I'm an island baby too, but Drake trash. Bati boy or Bati boy? It's a B. That's a B. Barrett. Maybe that's a spell check. Drake is not top 5. Yo, we gonna have a conversation on that after. But J. Cole saying he let Nas down is because he did not want to be initiated. If you listen to that song, Drake writes some of his raps, but notice when he got scared to go at Kendrick because he couldn't own if he's writing the raps, he can't measure up to the raps that Kendrick or the words that Kendrick is speaking. Yo, Kendrick is bananas. He's nasty. Are you thirsty? I see. So Kendrick is bananas, but so is Cole. But Cole told you in I'm an OG hip hop dancer and old DJ. I gotta say, most of these rappers y'all talking about, I haven't heard music from them because it has no soul. Yeah, who is Lil Pump? I don't know who Lil Pump is. But I like J. Cole and Kendrick. I'll send you some of their stuff, Hannibal. I'll send you some new school rap that you could possibly vibe with. But the dudes who don't get play are the ones who like Joey Badass. Joey Badass is nice as hell, and if you don't give that man no due respect, you are not a fan of hip hop. You are a fan of shit hop. You are a fan of pop. That's what you are. If you don't give that man, Joey Badass, his dues and his respect, because he's also in that same class as Kendrick and Drake. Now you got me saying Drake. Kendrick and J. Cole, he's in that same class. Joey is getting spins now because he started. He was always woke. I seen and peep, but don't care for it. It has no soul. I don't think you've seen animals' hairs the Magi frequency. But listen, though, not all of it is trash. Not all of it is bad frequencies. Lil Xan, Logic, Macklemore are the top 3. You can take 2 out of there. Logic is decent. I'm gonna give that man his props. Even though I think he get mulatto privilege. Because if he was dark skinned talking about the stuff that he was talking about, he wouldn't get that much play. But the only reason why he is because he's mulatto. I think Drake gets help on the pop shit, but I think he writes his rap shit. He's introverted rap, so too personal. And I'm a Nas and Hoes fan. I rather classic rap. I feel like we all would rather classic rap because, like as Hannibal says, classic rap has soul. Logic doesn't know what he is. I rock with Kid Cudi. Yes, so there's many artists out here who appreciate the art, and that was my point. As these little Pumps, these little Xans, these Fredo Santanas, all these Xan heads and lean heads, they don't appreciate the art. They're not. They don't study the history of hip hop. They don't know hip hop as a culture. They're approaching it as if it's just a music business. When hip hop is not a music business, hip hop is a world culture. That's why if it was a music business, hip hop would not be all over the globe. Hip hop would not be here in Japan. Hip hop would not be in China. Hip hop would not be in Russia, and all these so-called communist countries where they're only linear and they're homogeneous and they only have a set culture, hip hop would not be able to penetrate it if it was solely just a musical business. Hip hop is a culture. It was hard for me to pick new music to perform off because it had no soul. Last performance I used, Neo Champagne Life, was back in 2010. Going back to what you said earlier, the artist with two personalities, I feel like everybody who has a split personality had a traumatic experience when they was young, like been raped or anything. Hip-hop just got banned in China. Hip-hop may have been banned in China, but that doesn't stop the expression of it. Like I said, here, and I can only speak for Japan because I live here. Here in Japan, they are very serious people. They are very push forth their work ethic. They push forth conformity. They don't really allow for any wild expression. So even still, with all this, and I like I said in the music, not the music, the video I made before, is they rules are rarely get broken here. Like, the cops have nothing to do because everybody is so for the rules. But with that, you see graffiti everywhere. And if you know anything about hip-hop, you know hip-hop is graffiti. You see that. You see graffiti happening all over the place, and that's the expression of hip-hop that they're able to do. They're going against the conformity. And that's what hip-hop is. That's what hip-hop is. It's counterculture. It's a culture of counterculture. You guys have this stuff. You guys have this. And this is what you're portraying to us as mainstream. Well, we're going to do this. We're going to take your words and flip it. What you say is dope as being stupid, we're going to say dope and make it cool. What you saying as cool as in cold, we're going to make cool as in the thing you want to do. You want to be cold. You want to be bad. I got mad respect from Asian dancers. They study hip-hop dance rules. They banned tattoos showing on TV, not hip-hop. Why do rappers, here's a question, do rappers fuck themselves over by beefing because if they came together? No. Well, that's just like because rap beef, battle rap, that's what helped hip-hop, be nurtured. You couldn't tattoos are very like, I have tattoos and stuff, and I can't go some places here in Japan because they associate the tattoos with the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia. So I'm wondering if that's the same in Japan. But anyways, battle rapping was what nurtured hip-hop. So you had to go through certain, just like I said, the 2000s and the mixtapes and stuff like that, putting one mixtape against the other, putting one rapper against the other, and making, you gotta show us right there on the spot. This is not no write something in your iPhone and read it off and say that you're freestyling or remembering a freestyle and then, spitting it and saying that you're freestyling. No, you had to be there, put on the spot against one other person. They're going to spit their rhymes to you and you're going to spit their rhymes back. And if you remember anything, if you're reciting, we can tell you're reciting because it's not... The battle rap was really to pump the DJ. I'm talking about in the 2000s. In the 2000s, but yeah, that's history right there, and Hannibal knows because he grew up there. That's Hannibal's forte. You know what I'm saying? I agree, but I think rivalry kind of fucked up money for a lot of people. It wouldn't mess it up if it was done properly. If it was done properly, obviously you don't. So I don't know why you here. So if it was done properly, like the Jay-Z and Nas beef, right? The Jay-Z and Nas beef bigged them both up. Rakim and LL Cool J bigged them both up. You can go, like I said, and this is stuff that these little dudes need to be studying. These little dudes need to be studying these beefs, these so-called old heads, and what they went through and what they said. Because once you understand their story, once you understand their history, you can your whole flow, your whole message that you're spitting could change. You don't care, so why are you here, Jake Paul? I don't understand where these trolls be coming from. Like, if you don't care, why are you here? Why are you listening? No one cares what you got to say. So That's right. Tell him, Nugget. Tell him to get out of here. These little dudes don't see it with context. They just want to kill each other. They don't want to kill each other. They want to get high. They want to get high and escape the reality that they're living. Young people don't study, especially these drug addict, dress-wearing rappers. So, yeah. They're escaping their reality. And what reality are they escaping? Let's say that. Let's talk about that. What reality are they escaping? What can they possibly be going through, right? We, like I said before in yesterday's live, right? How they're attacking us. Study the history of hip-hop, rap music. The DJ was the most important element. Exactly. The DJs is what controlled the flow. What controlled the flow of everything. Poverty and bad parenting. Yeah. We all dealt with poverty and bad parenting, right? They dealt with poverty and bad parenting in the 80s. They dealt with poverty, bad parenting, and violence in the 90s. That's all the same. What is the difference between now and then? The difference between now and then is the control system. All right? The control system. So like in yesterday's live, how I was talking about how we are pumped with vaccines and drugs. This generation is super soft. They are super soft. They're super soft and they're super emotional. The emotion is based off of what they've been subjected to. So you have the vaccines, you have the aspartame, the fluoride in the trash food that you're eating, right? Then you have the frequency of the music that you're listening to, of the videos that you're watching and all that. So you're being exposed to all this. People don't understand that this weighs down on our consciousness. These low vibrations weigh down on our consciousness, and rather we be aware of it or not, our consciousness is aware of it. So our subconscious is going to find some way to try to escape this reality. And these kids are using the drugs and the Xan and the lean as a way to escape this reality versus learning about themselves, learning that there are ways, healthy ways to escape reality, like meditation. But they don't want to meditate, right? They don't want to meditate. They don't want to learn about themselves. They don't want to align their chakras and get into a higher vibratory field, right? They want to be stuck in this lower vibration. I hope it gets stuck, Nugget. What are you doing? They think we're crazy and lame when we tell them what's up. They think we're hating. That's what they say. We're hating. The elites rather them buy their drugs. Yes. They rather them buy the drugs. The drugs is what's going to give them money. You hear him? Oh my God. He's a little nuisance. He's crazy sometimes. And I tell you, if I wasn't on live right now, he'd be as quiet as a mouse. He'd be as quiet as a mouse. We were just sitting there playing before I got on live. We were sitting there playing. I'm like, all right, I might have tired it out and wore him out and stuff like that. We were playing for a long time, and I thought he would be good. He would just be sitting there and chilling, but nah, he's not gonna sit there and chill. So yeah. So instead of these children, no, I don't got a mod in here. I need a mod in here though, because I don't got the time to be clicking somebody's. He's hearing mommy's voice. He's lit. He hears my voice and he hears me say Nugget. He'll start ducking, running like he stole something. So I don't know how to put mods in here. Somebody gotta teach me how to do that or show me how to do that. Like, what happened to you, Nugget? What are you doing? Oh my, these dudes fucking it up. I mean, they not. I ignore the real crazy stuff. Like I didn't ignore Brandon because I knew Brandon was gonna come on here with some fuckery. But it seemed that he cooled out. It seemed that Brandon cooled out, and I appreciate that, Brandon, that you cooled out. But yeah, so with these see where it says live chat, go to the right of it. That there's 3 dots. There's 3 dots. I just see share, microphone, and stuff like that. I don't see anything else on here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Cause it is super annoying. Cause I'd be the first one to be yelling, mods, get them. We had a nice, cool group past couple of streams, I know. But once one troll comes in, they bring in all the other trolls. So yeah. So with these little niggas in the game these days, they really need to study their history of hip hop and understand really how much power they have. And these dudes, especially claiming that they're not hip hop, like your Uzi Verts and or not Uzi Vert, your little or young Yachty, whatever, Lil Boat. How he says I'm not hip hop, but you use the hip hop platform, you use the hip hop formula. You're using hip hop, but you're saying you're not hip hop. And you're being the counterculture, being counterproductive, and you're letting these Macklemores and these Lil Xans and whoever come into hip hop and dominate it. So in 20, 30 years, people are gonna look back on hip hop and say, oh, you know, Eminem started hip hop. Eminem was the king of hip hop, just like they did. Where are they coming up with these names? I really don't get it. Everybody's a little something, little drug head, you know, little lean head, little Xan head. Ridiculous. So I say that to say this. Once they start learning about, you know, the history of hip hop, and that is not a music business, it's a culture. And they have to protect this culture, because we don't want hip hop to turn into what jazz is, to what classical music is, to what rock and roll is, to what country is, to us seeing that musical genre and saying that's a white genre. Oh, you listen to white music. When I listen to rock, oh, you listen to white music. When I listen to classical music, oh, you listen to white music. When all of us know in here, maybe except for Brandon, that all of us, that all came from us. That's all our music. That's all more and Asiatic music. That's our stuff. And we can't let what happened to those genres happen to hip hop, to where in 50 years, they're going to be looking at hip hop as a European dominated. I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but I see rap dying down in the next couple of years. Listen to soundtracks, because today's music is trash. Jazz is us. Jazz is us. Country music is us. The blues, rhythm and R&B, rock music, rock and roll, that's all of us. Country music, that's all us. Even opera, that's us. Because opera is Italian, right? And the Italians are who? The Moors. Tupac is gonna be white. Ain't that a shame? They'll put up the holograph of Tupac and make him a light-skinned, white-skinned brother. And that would be so sad. That would be so sad. I know a lot of young people that are obsessed with the early 2000s musics. Hip hop came out of R&B, and R&B came from blues and jazz. Yes, that's what I was saying. So we took a dying music genre, the disco, right? The disco, and we turned that into hip hop. The scatting of the jazz, the skibbity bop, boop boop, that's hip hop. That's hip hop. That's beatboxing right there. That's what they were doing. They were making their mouth the instrument, and hip hop, their mouths are the instrument. People are rejecting current music slowly, but see, they have to go beyond what these dudes. Hip hop to them is 2000s. That's hip hop to them. Not knowing, like, from the beginning of hip hop started in the early 70s. Throwing up the W for white trash of fuck. Get out of here. Yeah, you funny, King. I simply made use of what was upstairs in the attic. I grew up, my dad still had turntables, and he still had records, and he was playing those. That's the music I grew up. And my dad was very eclectic. He listened to everything. That's why I listened to everything, because he knew that was our music. And this is our music, and I know that's our music. And I play that for my son. That's our music. That's nobody else's but yours. So, what was I saying? Boom, 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 boom. Yes, so 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So we got almost 50 years now. 50 years. Well, you said it earlier. It's all rooted in materialism. Yes, because if they can't make money off of it, If they can't make money off, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the love, y'all. Now we had R&B. Disco was the European music trying to... Okay. All right, you got that. You got that, Hannibal. I know you don't like isms. I don't like isms at all. Isms is nothing but a way to divide us. So we got 50 years now, right? Almost 50 years of hip-hop being around. And hip-hop has been commercialized for 30 of those 50 years. And I'm using roundabout math now, right? So in the next 50 years of hip-hop, that will be a total of 100 years. What will hip-hop look like in 100 years? Will hip-hop be another classical music? Would hip-hop be like, and I'm saying classical, would it be hip-hop, classical? Music is trash. People just haven't adapted the way we consume it, which is, exactly. Radio is no place to find hip-hop. Radio is no place to find hip-hop. To find hip-hop now, you have to, like I said, and before, we didn't have to go far to find hip-hop. In fact, during Hannibal's time, all you had to do was go outside and you found hip-hop, right? Us today, we have to search and dig and go through a whole bunch of garbage before we find hip-hop. If you think about it, Post Malone, G, Easy, Logic, and Lil Pump run the charts. None of them are black. Exactly. They stopped over a decade. Oh, the radio. Well, Logic is sort of black. He's a mulatto. He's half black, he says. But he doesn't really big up his dad like that. He talks about his mom. I was a big fan of alternative rock like Linkin Park. Yes, Linkin Park, good hip hop. Linkin Park is inspired by hip hop. If you listen to Linkin Park, what's his name? What's his name that just died? Damn, I forgot his name. That Cardi B is lit though. I thought she was about to say that Cardi B is lit. I was about to be like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so I'm gonna hurry up and get off of here because me and Hannibal got a little something. She got a sex tape. She was a stripper, so if you visit her at her strip club, you would have had a sex tape affair too. His dad is half black. Logic is like, oh really? I thought his dad was full black and his mom was white. I just imagine when my kids grow up, I'm going to have to explain Soulja Boy to my kids. I like jazz music. There's great jazz musicians today. Yes, but when you look at jazz, right? Look at an orchestra. None of those people are Moors. None of those people are black. They wouldn't let rap be played on FM radio. We had to listen to AM stations, and they almost gave us 3 hours. See? Back then, the radio didn't even care about us. Now, when you flip the radio stations, that's all you hear. That's all you hear is rap, because it's trash. It's rap. It's trash rap. They're pumping that out because that is what brings down our frequencies and our vibrations. That's what happens. So I'm gonna wrap this up now. Any last minute questions or comments or anything? We should collab, help you get some pub because I'm retiring. We need more female voices a lot. That's what I'm saying. Hit me up on my DMs. So watching is one of the bigger musical jazz acts today. I gotta be honest. I don't really know who's jazz and nothing like that. To be honest, I'm gonna be, and I can't be anything but honest. I'm not gonna front. I don't front for nobody. You know what I'm saying? If I don't know nothing, if I don't know somebody, I'm gonna tell you I don't know nobody. Now, thank you, Hannibal. I'm gonna get with you up after this. I'm trying to wrap this up so we could do our meditation. Because yesterday I went on a little bit longer. And I come on the same time. I'm going to do the same time. I think I'm going to do the schedule now. So during the weekdays, I'm going to come on my morning time, y'all's evening time, around, I want to say 8:30, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So 9 p.m. New York time. You sure? I mean, it's up to you. We can push our meditation a little later. If Hannibal says we good to go, we good to go. No, not your midnight time. We usually end around your midnight time. I start around your 10 p.m., your 9 time. But that's the time block I'm looking at right now because that's the time block I'm free and that's the time block a lot of people are, at home and off work and winding down and stuff like that. But on Sundays, I'll be doing my Sunday night, y'all Sunday morning. So on Sundays, I'll be doing it in the morning time. I'm gonna take a little. We could do the roast session. We could do the roast session. Who we roasting? All right, so I'm gonna do our prayer work after this. Yeah, I know. Yesterday we went in a little bit longer, but we'll do the roast session. I already did a little roasting today. Roasting y'all's boy, Brandon over here. So, yeah. So, but I'll take Friday and Saturday off because I gotta take off sometime. Yeah, I mean, I was also gonna tell y'all if y'all ever wanted to, all right. If y'all ever wanted to talk about any type of subjects or anything like that, leave me comments on the comment box. Who is Brandon? Where did this dude come from? My Instagram is in the about section of my page, but I'll put it up in the description box of this video or whatever. But yeah, if y'all want to talk about any, because as you see, I come off the top, I come in wanting to talk about a topic, and I just talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So anything that y'all want to talk about, y'all want to test me on or anything, yeah, he is from Sabir Page. He came in, he followed me over here. I seen him subscribe, and I was like, oh damn, I know I'm about to be in for some trolling tomorrow during tomorrow's live. And look it is. Listen, I'm not one to argue with you. If you want to call yourself Scottish, I'm gonna call you Scottish. That's cool. I don't even want you to be associated with the Moors. That's cool. You can keep that. You can keep yourself. Just know you my son. Just know that. You my son. So who are we trying to roast? Who are we trying to roast? I got on Taharka ass a little bit last night. I personally, yeah, you my son. I personally want to roast these little social media dudes. Listen. Let Sabir handle that. Yes, let Sabir handle Brendan, and let Sabir tell him he's a Moor. I don't got the time for that. Like, you won't come on here and say you're not a Moor. You're not a Moor. I don't care. I don't want you to be a Moor. Siege, scratch your eyes out for saying that. Listen, I'm not gonna go on anybody's moms because I have respect. So I'm gonna just go on you. Like who? See, that's the thing. I don't like calling out these dudes' names because they don't deserve okay, I see you, Bitter Truth. I see you. After I get out of here, I seen that the Harker dude y'all was talking about, he looked like a cross of Beanie Siegel and Isaac Hayes. Hey, the first rules, let's get him. Taharka talk like he missing all his teeth. That's how he talk. He knows he never opened his mouth fully closed. Yeah, I seen you. So I'm gonna add you back when I get off of here. Cause if I do it, he is small pit bull. Taharka ain't even a pit bull, yo. He's a terrier. He's a little Jack Terrier. He's all bark, no bite. You feel me? He's all bark, no bite. Pit bull's quiet, right? Pit bulls don't say. That's why if anybody who has dogs and are dog owners, Shaft and getting knocked out Siegel. If anybody has dogs, right? If you were a dog owner, you have your pit bull, right? Or your Rottweiler or your Doberman Pinscher. They would be quiet. They wouldn't say nothing. Then you have your little, what I call yapper dogs, your Chihuahuas, your Yorkies. And when the hot boys is at your door, right? All they hear is that. They're like, oh, that's a little dog. We got the little dog, and they bust in that door. And who come at their ass? The Rottweiler, the pit bull, the Doberman. It's not the little dog. The little dog is just making noise to make you think, right? To make you think that there's nothing else to be worried about. It's the pit bulls that are silent. The pit bull, and even small pit bulls, right? If you had pit bulls, I've had pit bulls from little babies. Damn, just hurt my heart. I had a pit bull. Actually, I couldn't bring her here to Japan. I had to leave her in the States which is real sad to me. She was my baby. I had her from, from a pup, went through all her period mess and all that stuff, but I had to leave her at home. So, but yes, if you had pit bulls from, yeah, I had to leave her because I got a pug face. I won't disrespect my pit. He's a handsome young, he's got a pug face. Pit bulls are good around kids. Go get the belt. I had to leave her in Boston, and she stayed with my mom, and then my mom helped me find somebody to take her. So they took her, and she's in good hands. I would never, leave her to, especially pit bulls, because pit bulls get such a bad rep, and they like are, so people are so quick to put pit bulls down. Like, I mean, like kill put them down. So when they go in the shelter, it's like 9 times out of 10 they're gonna get put down. They're not gonna be adopted. It's very, very, very few times that they are adopted. So I can't do that. I can't do that. Because we initially said that we're gonna be gone for 3 years, and I want her to have a good home. I want the people that's gonna have her to love her and stuff like that, and to have time for her, and the people that So she's in good hands. The father loves him. I talk to the kid who adopted her like some often and stuff like that, because when I do go back, I do want to go visit her, because I love her. That's my baby. I know she misses you, man. She don't care about me, no sir. But yeah, so they're taking good care of her. They take her on camping trips. They take her, out in the pickup truck. So I know she's loving it. So yeah, but I told my husband, like, yo, I can't get no more dogs, yo. So I think I'm gonna not have no pets, because I don't really like cats. I'm allergic to cats, and I can't bring myself to get another dog. But who knows? We'll see in the future. But yeah, so don't compare Taharka to Tabarka. That's what I'm gonna call him, Tabarka, because all he do is bark. He got no bite. These dudes on social media, especially the Hebrew Israelites out here, love coming for me. Love Tafarda. Tafarda, Tabarka, whatever. That dude, the only reason why I know about that dude is because he was coming at my mans. Coming at Taj, and coming at Hannibal, and coming at Sabir. That's the only reason why I know about this dude. This dude wasn't even on my radar. Your Hebrew Israelites on social media be coming at your girl and stuff like that. Less of the sass, Captain Sassy Pants. What? Go somewhere, Brendan. Go somewhere. Don't you got some mutton to go eat or something? You got some mutton to eat? Hebrew Israelites are Moors, but they would swear to you up and down that they're not Moors. They would swear to you up and down that they're not Moors. They don't even know what they're believing. But they are super trash. They are he's a Fruity Pebbles type dude. Taharka, one of them boys that like talking trash at school, right? And then you be like, I'm gonna see you after school, and you go to his house and he don't ever come outside. You be waiting outside of his house and he don't never come outside. My mom said I can't come outside. Oh ass. My mom said I can't come outside. That's the Harka. My mom said I can't come outside, so I can't see you, Taj. I can't debate you, Taj, because my mom said I don't come outside. Okay, so I'll admit I don't know what a Moor is. Anybody want to school him, or y'all gonna let me do that? Anybody gonna school him, or y'all gonna let me do that? You are a Moor, Martinez. You are a Moor. You are a Moor. What was funny, Brandon? I don't know what you're talking about. You do it, I'm not in the mood. A Moor is who you are. That's your birthright. That's Israel is Yaqub, Kakish, Cushites, Moors are from Yaqub's experiment. You are the Moors. Kemites, Semites, Berbers, Hamathites, Canaanites, those are Moors. Those are Moors. So the same people who built the pyramids, the same people who owned the where Moors didn't just come up in 7-Eleven. Moors didn't just come up in 7-Eleven. Cujo destroyed him in the past couple of weeks. The whole dirty Moors. Moor means black in more modern terms. More modern terms. Don't disrespect Hannibal. Don't you disrespect Hannibal. He knows. I'll YouTube it. We will talk about it next chat. You talking to Taj's son right now. Taj Tariq Bey's son. That's who you talking to. Lemurian. That's where originally the term Moor came from. It was Lemurian. That's why you see the hashtag MUUR instead of MOOR. Lemurian. Mu. Moor. Mer. MUUR. Alright? So because when people dive into certain information, they reject information that does not resonate with them. And yes, that's okay. That they reject information that does not resonate with them, but then they dismiss that information. If more means black, then why are you not using more? That's why people never take this serious when you act so condescending. Who's acting condescending and pretentious? Who's acting pretentious? I'm just saying, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay, but you can't be dismissive of something that you don't understand. Because a lot of people would go into, let's say, I don't know what I could talk about to make this example. But if you're holding on to if you're researching or you're studying a certain subject, like, okay, let's do general, like math, right? You studying math and you got your addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, you got your geometry, you got your algebra, you got your trig, then you get to calculus and you be like, this doesn't fit. This doesn't fit in what I've been learning. This doesn't fit the paradigm, or statistics. This doesn't fit my paradigm. This statistics or algorithms. This doesn't fit my paradigm. So I'm going to reject that. That's not math. Statistics is not math. Calculus is not math. You know what I'm saying? Only addition, subtraction, division, algebra, that's math. Statistics and calculus, that's not math. That's what a lot of these dudes in this conscious community are doing. This is a useless argument. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. The fact of the matter is people only like to dive in how far their cognitive their cognitive selves let them far. Once they hit that wall of cognitive dissonance, they reject whatever else they begin learning. That's why a lot of these Hebrew Israelites like to say that they're not Moors, because it goes against what they're learning. People treat this like a religion, which is a tool for control. Yes, that's what I'm saying. But it's not a religion. It's not a religion. And that's not what Hannibal is saying, if that's what you're talking about. That's not what Hannibal is saying. Hannibal is not saying it's a religion, but there are I don't know why I just scroll back up looking at what Brent. I thought she was saying actually good something for a good something. But the Moor thing is not a religion, right? But there is more to being a Moor. Yes, it goes against their belief system. There's more to being a Moor, sorry for the repetitive words there, than law. There's more to be, Martinez is not Mexican. There's more to being a Moor than history. Being a Moor goes beyond 7-Eleven. being a Moor goes beyond 1920s. No, they treat it like a religion, like when black women use feminist talking points but don't claim feminism. I don't know no black women that uses feminism talking points and don't claim feminism. The black women that I know that use top button topics like toxic masculinity and misogyny and the patriarchy and all these things, they cling heavy to feminism. Even when they're speaking things that kind of go against feminism, they still claim feminism. They still claim feminism. So whether you want to believe it or not, you can't let the cognitive dissonance. Still, Mexicans are our brothers. They too are Moors. Yes, they are. The most popular one is the YouTube calling them. Oh, you talking about what's that? Cynthia G, the bug-eyed girl. The bug-eyed girl, who's so pro quote unquote black, but you don't ever see her hair. You're confusing this info with the Moors within the temple. Yes, because not all temple Moors are. I'm sorry. That's how I know her. The bug-eyed girl. The bug-eyed girl who wear a full face of makeup for every YouTube video and always got to have her weaving for a YouTube video. As you can see, it's my hair. I don't be wearing no full face of makeup or nothing like that. So, but see, you saying you're Wichita official, that is also kind of putting it into a box. That's putting it into something that people have to subscribe to. So you're saying, if I'm not Wichita official, I'm not a Moor? Is that what you're saying? Because at the end of the day, no matter where we come from, this is my problem with a lot of people who are in the was really called wits. The people in our community, we kind of like to divide ourselves by hierarchy. We put ourselves by hierarchy. Well, I subscribe to this, so I'm a bit better than you for this. I subscribe to this, so I'm a bit better than you. Here's my difference. So I'm not saying that if you're not affiliated, then you're not a Moor or anything as such. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So, but what I'm saying is we have to look beyond. We have to, first of all, take all the good from everything. So it doesn't matter if we understand that Christianity or Judaism or Islam is corrupted and used as a power structure. But what we need to understand is those didn't come up out of nowhere. They were created. They are, if you even want to go, they were plagiarized by earlier. They were plagiarized by earlier. Too many semantics, not enough action. Yes, they were plagiarized earlier by earlier religions and earlier belief systems. I don't know who this is that just came up on here. So, at the end of the day, we have to take the good from the bad, good from everything. And then once we start digging in deep to something, we cannot reject something just because it goes against what we have put in our head. And the tribal name is something. If you guys were the superior humans, you clearly think we would be about it instead of saying, I don't know what he's talking about. Bye. It's a birthright. You're born a Moor, just like you assume you're born black. He's not saying he's born black. He says he's a Moor, but he's a certain pedigree of Moor is what I'm getting. I'm Wichita Moor, so I'm more than you. Like, this is the thing. I want to create unity between all, because this is the reason why we fail all the time, is because we are so divided. We even divide ourselves. We divide ourselves, which makes it easier for the Europeans to come in and take us down from within because of the division created. So whether you wanna believe in the Hebrew whether you want to believe in the Hebrew Israelite stuff, whether you want to believe in Pan-African, whether you want to believe in black nationalism, we can look at each other, right? I could look at you and you could look at me and you won't see these labels, but we'll see we're the same people. And that's my point. We're all Moors. We're all the same people. So at the end of the day, we got to stop subscribing to labels, because these labels are what have divided us in the first place. Yes, he is, King. Yes, he is. He most certainly is. So, yeah. So much for my roast session. That took a weird turn. that roast session went left. I was trying to roast the Hebrew Israelites, and we talking about Moors, and this is how we got the Taharkas coming out, right? We get the Taharkas coming out because Taharka says that, oh, I go by exactly what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali says. I go by this, and no other Moors do that. My thing is either you're for black empowerment through power, wealth, and influence, or you're not. So what's the difference between us then? So-called black empowerment. What's the difference between us? Yes. No matter what tribe you want to associate yourself with, you are still the same people. You're still the same people. It doesn't matter what label you want to put yourself up. Like I just said, if you look at if you look at me, or we see each other in person, the approach to the distribution of that power, wealth, and influence. But again, our concept of power and wealth, what is it based off of? What is it based off of? Is it based off of what we think the concept is, or is it based off of the concept that's been taught to us? Most people just be waiting on some invisible sky daddy. That's not what none of us is. I don't think anybody on here, save for the person who was saying that, oh, I'm Christian, I believe in God or whatever, is talking about that. We're all talking about practical means. We're all talking about practical means. And I think we are all talking about the same thing, but we just get caught up in not trying. And that's why I'm saying I want this feminine energy to be penetrating this conscious community, because we are going by the linear and logical. We've always been led by the linear and logical masculine energy, and this is not no feminism talk. We're led by this. Yes, the European standard. We're led by this, and especially in this conscious community, we sit here and we hold the so-called black woman. She's God. She's this. She's that. We gotta honor thy mothers and da 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 da. But at the same time, there is no space for us in this conscious community, because what we bring, the intuitiveness, the emotional, not emotionalism, but the emotional intuitiveness that we bring is what is necessary, because you cannot have one without the other. You cannot have the masculine energy and believe that you're going to get anything done, because that masculine energy is only going to reach so many people. Same as you can't just have the feminine energy, because the feminine energy is only going to reach so many people. But when you have both, just like when back in the day we were fighting so hard for our so-called civil liberties, right? We had the male and the female energy. We were getting stuff done. In the Black Panther Party, there weren't just all males. There were females moving too. In the Black Liberation Movement, there weren't just males. There were females moving too. And there are women on here like the Bug-Eyed Girl, but there and your Empress I got a fake Caribbean accent, and your other women out here, all these group talk semantics, but follow through with no action, repetitive talking points, what we heard in the past, black consciousness. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. But the thing is what I'm saying is, what we've been talked about in repetitive. The reason is because it's masculine energy. We don't have the unity that we need to have. Many feminists are men. Yes, but that's the thing. These conscious women are strictly now moving because there's no space here for us in this there's no space here for us in this conscious community, right? Because what we say, what we bring is dismissed because we have so many women out here who are black man trash this, beta man this, and beta males this, kundu this. But do we want our women on the front lines? Why not? Why not is what I'm saying. Why not? You have your Asada Shakurs, you had your Angela Davises, you had all these women who were on the front lines and who were moving just with y'all. We were moving with y'all. Once you move as a unit, that's when you're not able to be penetrated. When you're able to be penetrated is when you have a broken link. Exactly. The front lines aren't for everyone. Just because women are outspoken, just because the woman is outspoken or you're giving us some type of shine in this movement doesn't mean we are on the front lines, right? Because you have to have your six covered. You have to have your six covered. If no one's covering your six, you're liable to be flanked. Point blank, period. So that's what I'm saying. And as a man, our job is to protect what we don't want y'all there unless you need to be there. But I'm saying is we need to be here. Just like how you said not so long ago, there needs to be a female voice. And the female voice needs to come clear. And the female voice needs to come truthful. You can't keep blaming the man. Oh, the black man is keeping us down. The black man this. Oh, and because that's creating more division. That's creating for more division for the European to come and see, all right, well, our plan is still working. The women still believe that they don't need the man. The man is not gonna come help the women because he feels like he's rejected. If you look at the Grapevine videos, that's what you see. That's what you see. A lot of these men sit here and want to agree with women and want to continue the dialogue, but they're shot down at every chance because these women subscribe to a belief system that say, oh, the black man is trash. Indeed, listen, as I said, it's not for everybody. As you can see, bug eyes out on the front line. But that's what I'm saying. Once you let women, because there are many women out here like myself and other more women who understand like not just our place but how we are needed in this conscious community. That doesn't necessarily mean we need to be on the front lines. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I've been on the so-called front lines forever. I've been watched. I'm on FBI watch list. I know I am. I've been monitored. I know I am. So rather you want to say we don't need you on the front lines, I'm there because I'm speaking the truth. And what I speak is the truth. And that's why I'm not blown up. Because I'm not subscribing to, well, you know, all this is the man's fault. All this is the black man's fault. All this is the black. I'm not saying like, oh, I need to be on the front lines and you need to give me this. It's not what I'm saying. But it contradicts the simp culture we have today. Lord. But better you're speaking for now. Teach the babies for the future. You can, but they can't. I know from experience women bring different perspective on things. Made me see. Yes, exactly. Exactly. We see things that men cannot. The same way men see things that women cannot. Because like I said before, like I explained before, men are logical. They see things in parts. They are able to look at something and break it down in parts. Women are intuitive. We are emotional. We see things as a whole. Yes, the yin and the yang. You cannot have a world full of yin energy. You cannot have a world full of yang energy. It does not work. It does not work. People keep calling me. The same way you cannot have this conscious community filled with just fucks not letting me live. They're not letting me live. So, all I'm saying is, there's patriarchal and matriarchal. Now the balance between our two ancient Lemurians. Yes. I appreciate you, Barrett. I appreciate your love. But it's just like sometimes I feel like when I speak, because we've been so conditioned to hearing when a passionate woman speaks, that they're speaking only behalf of women or only behalf of black women, or we're speaking against men, or it's woe is just like the whole slave complex. Woe is me because we were slaves. Woe is me because I'm a woman. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that it is necessary to have both energies if we're trying to make this thing really work, if we're trying to make this thing pop off. We have to have both energies, because you cannot get to everybody with solely the male perspective. You cannot get through everybody with just solely the male perspective. There has to be their female balance. There has to be the female balance. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, we need to take the man's place, or we need to be in the place of where the men. I know truthful women, I know traitorous women, and I know selfish women. Only one is on our side. Whew. So I'ma cool it now. I'ma cut it off for that one, because this whole thing kind of like, and this is kind of why like I feel like almost giving up. The bloodline and lineal descent is through women. The men should be there to support the women. Absolutely, Sahar. But sometimes I feel like as a woman, and this is not no feminist thing, it did go left. It did go left. And this is, it's like, I feel like I'm preaching on deaf ears sometimes. And I feel like the stuff that I want to fight for, that I want to work for, to get women more inclusive, to get women like Sahar and myself out here on the front lines, is like, man, y'all make it mad difficult. Like, I can see why these women be like the patriarchy and misogyny and this and that, is because when we come to you with passion, and we come to you like, yo, we got you, but you just have to let us be there to support you. Like I always say this analogy. When you're looking at the body, the man is the head. The man is the head. But the pecking order and vetting order must be adherent. The man is the head. But you cannot have your head without your neck to support it. That's why you have a neck. Leave Brandon alone. He's a goof. You cannot have your head be able to have its range of movement, be able to be sitting, unless you have your neck. That is what the woman is. We are here to support you. That's what we do. We support, we nurture, we care. We're the ones that build everything for you guys, for y'all. But you cannot have one without the other. You cannot have a head without a neck. Same as you cannot have a neck without a head. Ooh, I feel the women is the brain and the man is the skull. That's better. More comedy, I'm gonna steal that from you. So I'm gonna steal that from you, because that's even better. That's even more encompassing what I want to say. I'm gonna always give you credit. There's no problem with balance, but physically being, there's no out there, no, at this juncture of black populace, just because of the collective, we're not doing the job. I don't understand what you're saying. Are you talking about physically being out? So when you say front lines, I don't automatically think being out there with guns and shooting everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. We're out of balance because this is what used to be a matriarchy, according to Brother Taj. Yes. When I'm saying front lines, I don't necessarily mean being out there with guns and shooting anybody. But I'm going to let you know right now, I can outshoot my husband. I'm going to let you know that right now. All right? I can outshoot him with pistols. I can outshoot him with pistols. I'm nice. So that aside, when I'm talking about even on a social level, what you mean by on a social level? Because what I'm saying, the Creator said created both of us as equal. Men has a slight more power because women have a slight more power because she gives birth. I'm sure, but see, this is how I see it. We are equally powerful. We are equally powerful. There are things that men have that women cannot do. There are things that women have that men cannot do. And I feel like what women have, and I'm not saying y'all, and I'm not saying matriarchy, and I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying we have to be able to hold like account. Let me see. Boom. Hey, I got a moderator. I'm gonna wait till Sahar name pop up here too and make her another mod too. So because I can't keep blocking stuff. Is the key for universal harmony. Peru is the key for universal harmony. Balance, exactly. Yin and the yang. Somebody really don't want me to talk to y'all. It's a Japanese. Lord. Look at the grapevine example of miscommunication. Yes, it is miscommunication. But I'm gonna go because YouTube acting funny, people calling me and stuff like that. So, yes, with the blue wrench by your name, B. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm kind of like drained right now. I don't like confrontational energy, especially when it's my own people. I don't like I can sit there and go at it with people all day long, especially on IG. Will there be cookies? I'll bake some cookies. I love baking cookies. But yeah, like I feel like at this point in time when I feel like when I'm not being heard, or my words are being misinterpreted, or somebody don't want to see where I'm coming from, where I always try to see where everybody be coming from. It's not the trolls. It's not the trolls, because I wasn't even paying attention to Brendan. And I love you better. I love King and stuff like that, but it's just like I feel like what we're saying is being lost in translation. Is being lost in translation, and I don't want people to get like, oh, you saying that you're not this way, but the things you are saying is this way. I'm not trying to have or come out like that. So I'm gonna take a respite. We can pick this back up tomorrow. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, if you want to make your point, you're still timing him out. If you want to make your point, to me concisely without, any breakage, please leave me a comment. I will read the comment and then I'll respond to you tomorrow. But I'm gonna go right now because I've been on here for a grip. So peace and love to y'all. I appreciate everybody who watching. If you enjoy the conversation, please subscribe, hit the notification button and stuff. So I appreciate you, King. I really appreciate you too for putting me on to Grapevine. I'm gonna follow you back better on Instagram. Thank you, Sahar. Oh, Sahar's right there, so I gotta make her one of my mods. Hey, there we go. Y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all tomorrow around the same time. All right, peace.